Has it ever been a situation where you did not feel that chemistry initially, but then ended up liking the guy anyway?
We were just talking about the 80-20 rule.
Okay.
Right? There's the guys who don't, and then there's the invisible guys.
The invisible guys.
All right. So here we go. Back a little bit. No. This, by the way, I use this on my show.
Yeah.
And I had a whole section on this.
When it comes to men, us women place guys into 3 categories. The first category is the guy that we meet and we instantly just want. The sexual chemistry is high. We don't care what they do or how much they make, they are getting it. The second type is the guy that, he's okay. He's maybe not that good looking, but he's willing to spend money. He's going to pay our bills. He's going to buy us nice things. He's going to take us on all the dinner dates. But is he the one? No. Is sexual chemistry high? Or mid, probably. And then there's the third guy. The third guy doesn't have a shot in hell. There is nothing that he can do. There is no amount of money that he can make that would make us want him. He is a no right off the bat. Am I lying or am I telling the truth?
With a wink.
So I have like 10 categories.
Good.
Let's hear it. No, there's a long list.
What do you think, Amanda, of that?
I think it's real.
Yeah.
Just 3.
Yeah,
There's more than 3, right?
There's for sure more than 3. But there is that initial attraction where it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like the primal the primal humanness of you is really coming out. And then there's people that fill certain spots in your life. Right? And it's like, okay, so like you're good for this and you're good for this.
And they're not necessarily all in the same guy.
Not in the same category. Men do it too. We just do it
Sure.
now.
Yeah.
It's just part of our life because now I think society is now conditioned to dating for entertainment and not connection.
Interesting.
100%.
Do you understand how if you're a guy and you're a guy who's dating you and you're like, well, you fill this one role, but before there was another guy who I immediately just had extreme chemistry with, and it's not you, how that would bother the guy that maybe you choose to be a partner with?
We'll put in a better performance.
Is that it?
Sorry.
No, I can see how that would.
Do you understand? Like, so the issue is, I don't think there's any problem with a woman who makes a man wait for sex. I think there's a problem, though, when a woman makes a certain guy wait for sex and another guy doesn't have to wait. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
And then later on, he finds out, he's like, you made me wait 2 months, but this other guy, you had sex with him, and now you guys are just friends. Get the out of here. Do you understand what I'm saying?
But I've done that before, and
Okay.
like if I genuinely like a guy, I'm gonna make him wait.
Really?
100%.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you
And then if I just need you for
sex, then
for-
then you're not going to make him wait.
Exactly. No.
It's really funny how this is
Because then
backward. Are
it's-
you the same way, Zoe?
Because then it's
No,
for my own
I
initial
will
benefit.
not have sex with somebody like straight off the cuff. Like I need to. If there's no sexual chemistry, like what the are we doing here?
So you want to know quicker. So this is
I
what
wanna
this
know
is.
faster.
This is the
I don't
opposite.
know.
I'm not saying like
We'll talk
first
about emotional
interaction.
shit later.
This
like
is
emotional shit
no,
later.
but no, hold on. But I've seen both of these. I've heard a woman say, "If I like you, I'm going to make you wait," and I've heard another woman say, "If I like you, I want to have sex quickly to figure out whether or not you're bad in bed." I've heard both things. This is why, like dating women, anything you
We're
guys tell me,
confusing us out.
anything you guys tell me, I promise you, I will find a woman who says the opposite is true. She's like, "I can't believe this guy tried to have sex with me doggy style. It was disgusting." And another woman's like, "Doggy style is my favorite thing in the world." Like I have seen absolutely anything you can imagine. The one girl's like, "Oh, I don't like guys that are too ripped," and another girl's like, "I like guys who are like mountains." It's like, it's just so crazy. I think this
over
is
here. I like guys that are ripped.
yeah, but,
I don't. I like skinny string being like 6 foot.
then why don't you date a magic?
300
Why don't you date a
pounders.
Magic Mike guy instead of a?
They're more jacked.
No, the Magic Mike guys are less jacked than
I
the Chippendales
swear
guys.
to God,
The Chippendale
there's
guy,
like-
no. The Magic Mike guys look like string
I
beans.
disagree.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I just think it's really interesting. I think that initially is where the problem lies. It's that like when a guy is like, "Hey, I've chosen to settle down with this girl," and then finds out that some other guy had sex with her off the jump. From your standpoint, your internal logic is saying, "Well, yeah, I made you wait because I like you more." But from his
Because we're
standpoint,
emotional creatures.
correct. But from his standpoint, it's like, no, you didn't make him wait because you like him more. Because that's the way he's going to see it, and that's where guys get real. And by the way,
Because
there's
men are analytical.
well, I mean analytical, but we are also validated by sexual access. We're validated by the sex that women give us, or a better way to describe it is we are unvalidated by the sex we don't get, or the sex we have to wait for when someone else didn't have to wait. Does that make sense?
I think we're validated by the enthusiasm that a woman has to have sex with you in the first place. Like we were saying before, it has to be raw. Like it has to be that animal connection before anything else. So before emotion, before any kind of relationship. It's like I have to want that guy, right? That's genuine desire. That's what I'm saying. Is like that happens when that happens first. That's when that's what's going to lead to a much more healthier relationship in the end. If that woman wants you and has a genuine desire to like just rip your clothes off and fuck you to glory, right? From that point on, once that's established, then everything else that comes after that is going to be that much more either legit or authentic after that.
All right, so let me ask the three of you: has there ever been a situation where you did not feel that chemistry initially, but then ended up liking the guy anyway?
Absolutely.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, could you describe, like, what was that situation like? Initially, you felt what, and then what happened?
Initially, I really didn't feel anything, and then you get to know somebody, and the way that they treat you or whatever, their personality starts to come through, and you're like, oh, wait a second. I'm seeing something that maybe I didn't see initially. Then it turns into, like, 5-year relationship.
So the reason why I like this is because this is one of the key tenets that I try to describe in my course is the ability to manufacture attraction. Men can manufacture attraction. Women, it's much more difficult for them to do this, but men can. When you don't understand you can manufacture attraction, that's why guys go direct, because those guys don't want to try to manufacture attraction. And if you're really good looking and you have a Lamborghini, you don't have to manufacture attraction. You already have it. So you don't have to try as hard, so you can't go direct. Has this ever happened to you, where there was a guy you just you didn't have any feelings for him and you got to know him?
100%. And also it depends on what you're looking for. Like I've dated a guy who got his legs blown up. You know, he had like his hips replaced. They had to push him around in a wheelchair, clean him, and so when you're looking for someone, you have to keep in mind that anything could happen to that person, and you're not sexually attracted, you're just going to leave. I think that's such a
but I mean,
selfish way to look at when you're trying to invest in a person.
Initially
it was the same thing. That's what goes through my head. It's like, do I like this person? What's their energy like? Because energy is, I think, is the highest currency, like as opposed to looks nowadays. Anyone can be good looking, anyone can be rich, anyone can be good looking, anyone can be famous in this day and age. You know, energy is like speaks everything. You know,
So he's like that. They got to be hot as shit. I don't care about
Like, I'm leaving Stumpy at the hospital.
Well, I mean, the opposite can occur too, where a girl finds a guy attractive and then he does some simp shit and it turns her off.
It's funny. That's more actually, Logan. That's way more likely.
Yeah.
Guys, the thing you have to understand is that most women don't like most men.
Yep.
It's hard for a lot of people to hear, but it's just true. On average, women
we like
find
them
in a what's it called, unfamiliar environment, women will say a man who's an 8. Like when I say an 8, meaning like if we stratified the number of right swipes this guy gets on a dating app, if a man who's an 8, she will call him a 5, and a man who's a 7, she will call him a 4 or a 3, and a man who's a 9, she'll call that guy a 7. Like that's how women see men in a short-term dating context. Most of the time, men right swipe 55% of the time on dating apps. Women right swipe 5% of the time on dating apps. Women are just not as interested in men as the other way around. And so because of that, that's why you get into these situations like what you're talking about before. But when you got to know him, what are we doing? We're going from an unfamiliar environment to a familiar environment. And now the guy who normally would not have had a chance against Brock the bartender or Steve the male stripper, now this guy has a chance now. Now Alex the accountant has a chance with you because you got to see how he treats you or any of the other things. Maybe he's funny. Maybe he's got cool alignments. Maybe he's got hobbies that you find interesting or attractive, right?
And you establish a connection.
Correct.
And then that usually turns into a relationship.
Sure. But here's the difference. Me as a man, I can't look at a woman and be not physically attracted to her and then find out that she collects Autobots and then all of a sudden my penis gets hard. It doesn't work like that. You guys understand? It's like, oh, really? That's amazing. You're a Cowboys fan too? My penis does not get hard. It doesn't matter. There's nothing you can do if I'm not physically attracted. So there's a difference.